What is up, everyone? This is Stormy, and today I'm going to be doing a recap of the Xbox reveal. Just happened. There's one thing I want to say beforehand. You're watching Call of Duty gameplay, AN94 in studio, Hardpoint. It went pretty well. So, the Xbox One, which is their official name for it, is meant to be a media console, not just a gaming console anymore. That's one thing that, while I go through this, you're going to have to keep in mind, because they did talk a lot about and what they're going to be doing with TV and internet integration and things of that sort. So that's one thing to keep in mind as I go through all of this. Anyway, it's going to be cloud powered. Everything's going to be saved, but they did not talk about the DRM staying online all the time setup. So from what I hear, they've scrapped that idea. So there isn't going to be a 100% online component to the Xbox One anymore. The controller's the same. They modified it a little bit. The start and select buttons are a bit different. Most of the layouts pretty good, pretty the same. The analog sticks look a little more comfortable, and they moved the Xbox button up, the guide button, so that people don't accidentally hit it anymore. From what I'm assuming, it looks a lot more sleek. The entire system looks a lot more sleek, and it'll come with a Kinect. The Kinect is a big portion of the voice command that they're going to be going over, and the body command, and it recognizing you. It'll recognize your voices, how you look, things like that, and bring you up to your own custom screen, your home screen, which will have things like what you've been doing last. So games, movies, TV you've watched, music you've listened to, things like that will all be on your home screen when you sign on, which is pretty cool. The next thing is they integrated something called instant switching, which is essentially you can change from your TV to your Xbox if you have like a DVR. TV to your Xbox to music if you have a separate setup for that. Pretty instantly, you connect everything through your Xbox One, and you can go back and forth between the systems pretty instantaneously. A lot easier than using a remote, and it's all voice commanded with the voice command from the Kinect. They used a smooth touch interface too, so the Kinect they use is an HD sensor. It has much more towards it. It can sense if your wrist is turned, things like that. And from what the demo they were doing, the control looked very, very smooth. There was no gaps or no glitches in how it was reading. So that is pretty exciting, because it does read a lot more efficiently. So it'll make touch games much more fun to play. They also came out with this thing called Snap Mode, which is essentially two screens in one. So you have basically 1/3 of the screen on the right is one screen, and then they compress the other screen down to the second 2/3. So you can do things like when you're waiting for a Call of Duty game lobby, you can go on Twitter and tweet. Or one thing they stressed a lot was if you're watching an ESPN sports game, you can bring up your fantasy team. You can answer Skype calls through that with the Kinect. Pretty seamless integration. It works very well together, and then you basically say snap on, snap off, and this screen will go away or appear. For the Skype, they do have it integrated into the system as well. Anytime you have a call coming through, basically it'll pop up, will come up in the top left corner along with ESPN Fantasy Team. That it shows you a little pop-up of what happened in the sports game, especially if you're watching them, and it'll give you live updates towards that. Also, all of this will be used through Smart Glass. So Smart Glass is a thing they released on your phone and tablet. It kind of works like a controller of sorts to control your screen. Now, for a little bit, I'm going in the order of how the conference went, so it might jump around a little bit. The order of which it went was they gave the tech specs next. They had an 8 gigs of RAM, which is fantastic. USB 3.0 drives, wireless built-in like the old Xbox, and it does have a Blu-ray drive. So if you're like me and that's one of the only reasons you own a PS3, won't need to do that anymore. 500 gigabyte drive, and they harped on seamless operation, silent operation, which you couldn't really hear it running, but it looks like it's just supposed to be a media center, so it's supposed to be replacing everyone's Blu-ray players and things like that. So that silent operation is a very big deal. Then for Smart Glass, it's better integrated in the system. Just to pick it up, I know I've used it a little bit, and it's been a little jumpy. They actually built the Xbox One on smart glass, so it works fantastically with the device. It's meant to work with the device, so it is a smooth operation. For their online servers, they have about 15,000, I believe they said right now, just for online servers and all sorts of stuff. They said they're going to be updating it. They're going to have around 300,000 servers for doing everything online, from games to saving to the cloud, things like that. And you'll also be able to take all of your gameplay and save it within a DVR system in the Xbox One. And they do incorporate some editing tools. I'm not sure how good those are going to be, but they give them there for you just in case you want to use them. And they allow you to edit on that term, upload your stuff to wherever you want to, all through in the Xbox One. They have also promised with all of these servers there's going to be better matchmaking. It's going to be more fine-tuned to your game's style, unlike what we have now where you can get thrown into some pretty bad lobbies just throughout your Xbox. They're going to try and rectify that and make it a little crisper for us. And then they went into the game side of stuff. The first thing they had was EA Sports come out, and they said that the 4 games they're positively going to have on there is FIFA, Madden, UFC, and NBA. EA Sports Ignite is human intelligence. It's basically an AI for sports games, which makes players move more like they would, think more like they would, and just have an overall more realistic game for sports games. They also are creating the world accurately, so you'll be pumped up when you step into the arenas. It'll make you feel like you're there. They also said that Forza 5 is going to be available on launch. They just showed a little bit of driving gameplay too. It didn't say too much of it, but that game will be available when the game is when the console is released. They also started talking about games that are going to be released. Within the first year, they plan on releasing 15 exclusive games, 8 which are brand new franchises, so 8 we've never seen before. These included things like Quantum Break is what they showed, but we should be seeing a good amount of exclusives coming very soon. They also want to personalize television, so you have game guides, stuff like that built into the Xbox One, but they also announced a Halo television series, live action, with Steven Spielberg, which will be very interesting. I'm psyched for that. They didn't talk much about Halo, but aside from that, that's all they released to us, but I'm excited for it. And then they didn't really give us a price or a release date. They said it's going to be released later this year and didn't talk anything about price, which will be interesting to see coming with the Kinect, how that's going to work. Then the last thing they did, which closed out their conference, was talk about Call of Duty Ghost. They basically said everything's going to be released first on there, and then talked a little about the gameplay. There will be much more on that throughout looking at the trailer, but that's how the Microsoft release went. I hope you guys enjoyed listening to it. Hope if you missed it, I cleared a little up for you, and I'll catch you guys later.